Napewa, Denver, a very good morning to you and thank you so much. Of course, we're still coming to you from the Swakopmund Hotel here in the beautiful town of Swakopmund, where the 8th edition of the Broadcast and Digital Media Convention Africa 2024 is underway under the theme Broadcasting and Content Publishing in the AI-infused digital ecosystem. It's day 2. Yesterday we saw some very exciting engagements, very exciting panel discussions, and of course those discussions continue today as we also continue with our discussions here on our Good Morning Namibia segment on the sidelines of this important convention. And this morning I'll be speaking to a number of participants, a number of stakeholders on the African continent as far as broadcasting is concerned. We'll be sitting down with Mlamuli Dlamini, who is the CEO of Eswatini TV, to help us understand the landscape there in that part of the continent, and of course also his participation here at this convention. Furthermore, we'll also be sitting down with Tracy Angus Hammond, who is the director of the Angus Hammond Africa organization, of course a research organization, and she'll be here to unpack as well the importance of research in charting the way forward for broadcasters. And last but certainly not least, we'll be sitting down with Aziz Hajiev, who is the Chief Development Officer of Sweet TV. Those are our guests for this morning. We'll be sitting down with them in a bit, but for now we'll leave you with some beautiful sights and sounds of Swakopmund. Absolute breathtaking scenes there. As promised, we begin our engagements here on our segment of Good Morning Namibia, and I sit down with Mlamuli Dlamini, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Eswatini TV. He is here at the convention as well, and of course joins us to help us understand the landscape there in Eswatini. Mr. Dlamini, very good day to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Dishishi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or should I say Sawubona?
Sawubona. There you go.
Yeah, bro. First and foremost, talk to us about what you make of this convention. It began yesterday, of course, at day 1. How do you reflect on day 1 of this convention? Yeah?
Thank you. This is a great conference. As you mentioned, this is the Saba, right? 8th edition of the Saba convention, and yesterday it started off with a very high note. One of the highlights, obviously, was the keynote address from the Vice President, where she gave a really beautiful speech, and it was really good to see. Senior government leaders, right? Our leaders throwing their full weight behind supporting, public broadcasters and showing a clear appreciation of the value that the public broadcasters really bring to the community. And obviously the topic, right? Yeah. Very relevant. Yeah. Technology is driving a lot of change in our sector, and we need to keep up, because with technology you can't wish it away, right?
It is here.
It is here. So you just have to find ways to adapt and find ways to make it work for the mandate that we have, and that's pretty much the conversation we're having here, and it's a great conversation, and really like it. Also just like Saba, like every time I get this, the dates for this conference, definitely just bold it on my calendar, right? Because I believe Africans coming together to solve African problems is very important. I think we have a lot of similarities. We have a lot of, we have same similarities in challenges, similarities in opportunities, right? So us coming together and talking about these things, I think this is where the solutions for African broadcasting will come from.
Absolutely. Help us understand the broadcasting landscape in Eswatini. What is the situation like over there?
In Eswatini, we currently have Eswatini TV, which is an independent entity. Yeah. We just have one channel, and then we have EBIS, which is also a separate entity, and they have two channels, right. And then there's a few other smaller community radio TV. Oh, and then there's also one more TV channel called Channel Maswati. So that's the competition for Eswatini TV. However, last year there was a great milestone that happened. The Parliament and His Majesty the King approved the Broadcasting Act of 2023, which is basically changing the landscape in broadcasting in Eswatini. One of the things that it's doing is it's going to amalgamate radio and TV. So now Eswatini TV and the radio, it's going to be one entity, a broadcasting corporation similar to what we have here in Namibia. And then it's also going to really clear the landscape for other players who want to get into the market to come in with commercial licenses. So it's going to be interesting. Just the merging radio and TV, right? It presents a lot of opportunities and some challenges, right? There's going to be a steep learning curve there, but also opening up the landscape for more competition, right? Like I said, Eswatini TV, we've only had one competition for the longest time, right? So now new competition coming in the space. It's going to be interesting, I'm really excited about that. Again, it's just showing, right, government being committed to growing the broadcasting space in the country.
Fantastic. And talking about that commitment, and you also, of course, highlighted or pointed out to the Vice President's address yesterday, just showing that appreciation for government support, towards the sector, apart from the legislative groundwork being done by the government. How else is the government supporting broadcasters in Eswatini?
Very, very good question. I'll tell you, the Eswatini TV is a state-owned enterprise, and it's subvented by government. So we get a lot of support from the government, and then the radio side is fully run by the government, which for them, as we talk about the amalgamation, is going to be a big change for them. But I think it's a big step in the right direction. But for Eswatini TV was subvented by the government. So I'll say about 80% of our revenue, 90% of our revenue actually comes from government subvention. But I will say that, like most public broadcasters, we are constantly being asked the question of, hey, what are you doing to be self-sustaining? Yes. What are you doing to generate more revenue so that government can divert, right, some of the funds to other key national initiatives? And we're asking ourselves that. And again, this highlights the importance of this forum, right? Because these are the conversations that we're having. Because I talk to the other DGs, the other CEOs, right? They're being asked the same question. So we are all trying to solve that, come up with solutions. How do we raise more revenue? How do we become self-sustaining? But at the same time, right? I always come back to say, this is a public service.
Yes.
Public TV is a public service. It is a big necessity for social good, right? So there's still going to have to be some kind of balance, right? You know, I always tell my stakeholders that there's a lot that we do, not because it's going to help us make money, but because it's good for the nation, it's good for the people, it's good for the underserved communities, right? So I think there's going to have to be a balance there, but obviously, I think the day is coming where the support is just gonna, you know, start decreasing. And we've seen it actually. It's been decreasing. It's just gonna continue to decrease. But I always tell you know my stakeholders that let's hope it doesn't completely go away, because there are a lot of good things that we do that don't make money but are really good for a lot of people in the country.
Very much indeed. There's that big question around, there was an interesting point made yesterday during the convention about, obviously numbers play against countries like Namibia, like Eswatini. We do not have the type of market that South Africa has, you know, 60 million people plus. Your population is currently, what, between 1 and 2 million?
2 million.
Exactly, you know. How do we get to a point where our content can be sold outside of your borders? Are you looking into that as Eswatini TV?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it also, you know, it's also, to me, a part of the solution of how to become self-sustaining, because you look at countries with big populations, right? You know, it's very easy for an advertiser or a sponsor to just throw in a lot of money behind, you know, all the programming, because they know, you know, they're going to get, you know, big reach, right? Exactly. Or, you know, as you know, the currency of TV, the currency of radio is eyeballs, right? So that tends to work well for the countries with big population. But for us, you know, for us in Eswatini, you know, with 1.2 million population, we are looking into developing films or developing content that we can actually export beyond our borders. And I always say Eswatini has a very beautiful story to tell. Eswatini has a very unique story to tell, and it's almost true for a lot of African nations. And you know, and you look at you know, you look at the tourists that we get in Eswatini when we have our cultural events, right? And you can tell, hey, people are hungry. People are hungry for our story, right? So we just need. So what we're doing now is, I think this year we commissioned a program where we actually brought in producers from South Africa, people who have, you know, sold content to South African, you know, broadcasters, right, and also big OTT platforms like Netflix, and we said, come to Eswatini, right, and really lead us, you know, show us how to do it right. How do a production that can sell beyond our borders. And then that project was a great success, because also what we asked for was, let's have some of our people shadow the production team and learn, right? So that was great. And so that project, I'm looking forward to get that project to get to finalization, because to your point, as soon as we, you know, we're able to sell it to, you know, the broadcast, you know, Namibia and NBC, right?
To the South African market.
Exactly, South Africa, right, which is big. We have a lot of Swatis, right, Swati, that actually live in
South Africa.
In South Africa, we have a lot of Swati. That actually a lot of South Africans also that grew up in Eswatini, right? So they have a lot of you know, love for Eswatini in our culture. So we think our content would have a huge natural audience in South Africa. So that's definitely something that we are pursuing, and we're hoping that it will yield really good dividends for us.
Very much. I want to quickly gauge you on the issue of artificial intelligence. Of course, that's the big conversation. In fact, this very convention is based off, you know, the theme is based around artificial intelligence. Where are you as Eswatini TV as far as AI is concerned here?
Very good question. Honestly, for me, it's I think at Eswatini TV, we are at a phase where we are trying to understand it. We're at a phase where we're trying to understand it, understand what it is, understand what it's not, understand the risks, understand the benefits. So I think that's what I would say, and a conference like this, really delving into this is really helpful for us. Just seeing how people are using it, what are the challenges. So to us, it's still early stages in terms of adopting it. But I subscribe to the school of thought that you have to crawl before you walk, right? So to me, it's very key to really understand what it is, what it's not, what are the risks, what are the potential benefits and opportunities before we throw off, start running with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the day 2 and the last day of the convention, of course, you have your AGM, your 31st AGM tomorrow as well. Just from this convention, what are you taking home to Eswatini TV as far as immediate deliverables here?
The first one is the AI, right? Here, I've met some people who are subject matter experts, right? I've met some of my DGs who have started, getting their hands, in that space. So definitely taking that with me. And also, you talk about the AGM. To me, I really like the AGM. Actually, we're just talking with the SG, right? Talking about being focused on continuing to support Ion SADC, right? For me as an African, that is a very, very important initiative. We need to grow it. We need to make sure it continues to grow because, again, this is a platform where Emaswati tell the Swati story.
And a very beautiful story told so far since 2018.
Exactly, to all these countries that get Saba TV, right? And it's a lot of countries.
Yes.
And and with the way we tell it also is it's in an unfiltered manner,
yes.
Right? So to me, the AGM, right? Those are the things that I really want us to talk about. And then also, what's the next step, right? We're talking about a Saba TV, right? And then, again, that's an initiative that we fully support. Yeah. We fully support. So it's just talking about, hey, how do we grow these things? And then now you have technology, right? Because some of the challenges with, with executing or implementing Saba TV or, Ion SADC, right? It's resources,
exactly.
Right? But now with technology, right now we can say, hey, how do we leverage this technology that's become available to drive these initiatives in a cost-effective manner? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Dlamini, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Good Morning Namibia. Wish you I wish you good with the rest of your stay here in Namibia, and of course we hope to see Ion SADC broadcasting from Eswatini someday soon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ndishishi, and thanks for having me. Having a great time in Swakopmund, beautiful people, kind people, and also beautiful place. Hope to come back here very soon.
Absolutely. There you have it, Mr. Mlamuli Dlamini. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Eswatini, just giving us his take on day 1 of the convention, of course, some of his key takeaways, but also laying lay of the land, on the landscape there in Eswatini as far as broadcasting is concerned. Of course, saying that this convention is an important platform to overcome some of those challenges that many African broadcasters face. And of course, this is the perfect platform for that. We'll be back after this short break as we continue our engagements right here from Swakopmund.